Okay, so I'm Callie Fredenberg, and this is my photo journal for integrating tech into education in the spring of 2017. So sort of as a beginning introduction, my group included Charlene, Alyssa, and I. We named ourselves Bites of Chocolate, and then the picture that we illustrated on our folder kind of helps to better understand the idea behind that. So next, the first quest that we did was Sand Creek. Being a future history teacher, this was a lot of fun for me. I definitely didn't realize how difficult it was going to be to, number one, find the relatable media content, and then number two, to sit and read them all. We had a fairly decent idea of what order they needed to be put in, but actually sitting and reading through the documentation was much harder than we thought, and we ended up summarizing each one several different times to be sure it was correct. So the e-portfolio was the quest that I sort of took the most serious. I'm actually applying for my level 1 admissions packet for the education program. And there is a blank on there to write my e-portfolio web address. So I realized right away that this was something that needed to be very professional and really well put together. So it was something that I enjoyed doing. I will definitely be going back in the near future to add new assignments and be sure that the website stays as up to date as possible. And this is a screenshot of what it looks like. So the AdBust essay sort of felt like the first actual quest that we did. It was more gamified, I guess. Receiving this handout was really surprising. I don't think I had any idea just how few small brands there were. I didn't realize that it was a bunch of big companies that sort of materialized all these little brands to fit different standards and products. So we chose to bust a Nikon ad that stated, "I am Marco Polo." We thought it was really surprising that it would relate to such a thing. It really had nothing to do with it, and so we tore it apart and said, "I am broke now," considering that a new Nikon generally costs a few $100s, and the picture in the original ad featured a man staring out across a canyon landscape. And right away we knew that if you had bought a brand new camera, you probably would not be in that position, and most people wouldn't have the money to go take a trip like that after purchasing the camera itself. So it was just really unrealistic, and we were really happy with our ad bust by the end of it. So next was the PowerPoint remix, and this proved to be really challenging. Throughout the course, we texted and sent various Facebook messages to each other to keep in touch on who was doing what with the assignments and to be sure that we were on the right track. This one was one that caused us to text back and forth several different times because we were trying to understand the concept behind it. I'm someone that's horrible at summarizing my thoughts and ideas, so creating my portion of the PowerPoint was hard to do. We recapped the 1980s, and it was interesting to keep everything down to a one word or, one picture concept and idea because it was such a huge topic to cover. But I have noticed that my recent PowerPoints have become more condensed, and I focused more on studying the material before presenting. So I think that was something definitely good that came out of this. So here's what our PowerPoint looked like in the beginning, and then here is what we did to keep the slides simple. So we chose 2 to 4 events in that particular year that were really substantial, and then we wrote what they were and put a picture on there to kind of keep the idea but not overload it. So the Lego robots definitely took the longest, but they were a lot of fun. The building part was the hardest. I don't think that Charlene or I had a ton of experience with building Legos using like a manual. So that was sort of eye-opening. We studied it and made a couple mistakes along the road, but we were pretty happy with the turnout. The biggest hiccup that we came across, though, was our wheels were too tight. So although we were spot on, or it may look like we were off, we really weren't. It was how tight the wheels were. They oftentimes threw us off track. So here is a video of us completing one of the practice courses. Okay. So this is our final project where we created our own course with the Lego robot, and this is the loop. And when you see it start to go off track, that is actually the wheels being too tight. Alright, so next was the Kahoot. I was actually in the intro to teaching class. So when we were doing team teaching, we also had to make a Kahoot as well. So this was something that I guess the best way to put it was that I double dipped in. I created the Kahoot based on the content out of our team teaching book. So this was over how to be an effective teacher. It was really hard to pick out relatable and on-topic content from the textbook, but the worst part was trying to come up with 2 to 3 wrong answers for each one that weren't just blatantly obvious. But actually building the Kahoot was super easy. The website was a lot of fun to use, and I think as a future teacher, it's something I'd definitely like to utilize again, because I know that when I was in high school, we really enjoyed them. But here is a screenshot of us in the building process. So the smartboard was our final quest, and it was something that I thought was very simple yet had a lot of relevancy to it. And the website Smart Exchange provided us with a wide variety of lesson plans, activities, and general teacher aids. And by teacher aids, we mean just small little activities or pages of information that sort of help the teacher either make their daily transitions or maybe keep track of the lunch count. So it was really interesting to see all the things that Smart Exchange offered. We had 4 different plans. The first was a 50 states interactive map. This was actually our favorite. It was really cool because all the states are scattered at the bottom and students have to pick one and move it to the correct location. Next, there was a water cycle vocabulary mix and match. And so students would drag the appropriate vocabulary term, I guess, to the right process of the cycle. And then there was 3 different slides of it, so each slide got harder. And then we had the teacher's aid frog transition page, which I'm going to show you in this video in a minute. So each lily pad says something like clean up or meet on the reading carpet or line up, and they all have a different sound. So throughout the year, students would learn that if they hear you click or play on this sound, then this is the activity that they should be doing in correspondence with it. So then our final one was the fraction activity. So you begin by seeing the definitions of a numerator and denominator. You move into how the math is actually applied. Then you identify parts versus whole. You do a few example problems, and then it moves into kind of like a relation to previous knowledge where it shows cooking. It shows like if you were going to bake a pie and you had 1/8 of a cup of something, this is how it's related to fractions. So that was really neat to see them relate it to a real life experience. So here is the teacher's aid frog transitions. So, lastly, the technology objective that I thought the whole class related to overall the best was the student will collaborate and communicate globally in a digital environment. So there was a lot taking place in this class throughout the semester, so my teammates and I usually ended up completing the quest outside of class, and we formed our game plan during the class period itself. We still treated it like a group project, even outside of the classroom, by communicating via text, the Facebook Messenger app, and we oftentimes even messaged over Google Drive, and we shared several different projects back and forth with each other. We sent various photos, questions, videos, and documents to one another throughout the semester as well. So if Charlene videoed a quest or a day in class that I didn't get to, she would send it to me so that I would still have the content when it came time to put together this photo journal. And this communication process really worked for us and allowed us to efficiently collaborate as a group so that we could edit each other's work, submit assignments, and be sure that we were following content directions. So relating back to the standards, it definitely taught us to collaborate and communicate in a digital environment. Everything that we did was in relation to the quests, and then all of the communication was through apps and whatnot. So it was really technology based, and it was a lot of fun. And that is the end. So thank you for watching, and it was a great semester, and I'm really glad I got to experience everything. Thank you.